Welcome back. Today we're going to be taking a look at how we can actually go from simply generating just random polygonic shapes that have no regular orders in them. They're simply just, kind of starry meshes of stuff to actually doing the math to create a actual regular polygon. And so we're in our generate art panels where we're working with this. This is inside our art project. And so I've got first that I added a JToggle button. So I added the import for that in my import section. I initialize it in my constructor. As you can see right here in the constructor, I have this .regular polygon toggle is initialized to be a new JToggle button, passing irregular and false, because I want it to be deselected at first, because the default what we're working with is to have a just irregular polygons, that crazy star mesh shape by default, but we can use them to be like this when we're doing other. Once I've got that button initialized, of course, I add it to my panel. I'm going to put it inside my slider panel. For our default polygon, we simply just took a sides parameter, which we use from our slider to give us the number of sides, and then I use my scale slider to decide how big it's going to be, and I just randomly generate some points to make some mesh shape on there that theoretically could potentially be a regular polygon. However, we want to actually do that, so we're going to work with an actual regular polygon. So we have some other pieces we have to do. We have our add polygon method, which we're working with in our listener. We have our update toggle method, and we have our create regular polygon method. So in our update toggle, I've got the right here, so it checks to see if the regular polygon method button is selected. And so if it is selected, then I set the text to be regular. If it's not selected, I set irregular, which is, like I said, the default as we saw earlier. We have our add polygon method, which is going to be called from the add polygon button. And so if the regular polygon toggle is selected, then my canvas.add shape, and I create a polygon using the current edge count. Otherwise, if it is selected, then I do add shape, create a regular polygon, passing again the current edge count, so I can grab it and reference that information. And that's just handled right here with our lovely setup listeners. We have our toggle listener right here. And so I just call update toggle based on that. And if it's the polygon button, I click the add polygon method, so I can use that information directly for that. So those are the methods we use to actually get that set up. But let's go ahead and take a look at the actual create regular polygon method, where the work happens on that. And so again, it takes a sides parameter, which is determined based on what our slider is set for, so we can grab that information. I create a brand new polygon with no information first. I use the default constructor. I then decide where I'm going to place that by creating in origin x and y, passing it, in this case, 6 by 600, which is the space that we have inside our screen that we're working with. And then I get my width, which is going to take that current scale, add 1 to it, and get a math.random scalar on that, so I can get some value attached to it, so I can get a width of size on these. My theta is the next thing I have to calculate. In order to generate a regular polygon, I have to calculate the angle that I'm working with, and that is done by taking 2 times pi, or tau, divided by side. So I can grab that information right there. Then I use a regular standard for loop to iterate from index up to, but not including sides. And so index is 0, and I grab the x and y values, where I'm going to take for x value, I'm going to round the width times the math.cosine, so the cosine value of index times theta. So I'm going to take the current index, 0 through n, and multiply that by theta, so I can get the appropriate of rotation around that, so I can calculate the appropriate value of that cosine of that angle for my x value. And my y value is the sine of this. Oh, okay, so again, we're using the cosine and sine to generate that. This is kind of like what we did inside our Swift project when we were drawing those stars, or doing the hypocycloids, aka spirographs. And then my current.add point, and I pass it that x and y value, so it can generate those values. And then I'm going to translate my origin of my spot, because right now by default simply just creates that polygon in the top left corner where it's not very useful. I'm going to translate to that new random generated spot on my screen, so I can generate those as necessary. So I translate method, aka shift that polygon to that new location. So let's go ahead and run that project. And as you can see right here, it's deselected by default for irregular. If I add a polygon, boom, I've got that. Let's make the size here go a lot bigger so we can see this. So add polygon. And again, it's just this random collection of sides. Sometimes they're convex, sometimes they're not. They're just really cool creations of space. But then if I switch that to regular and I add a polygon, I now have automatically, I have regular 5-sided shapes right here. Oh, that's pretty cool. Go up here to edges, boom. There we go. Edge count go up again, boom, we've got that. If I make my size go up, boom, I've got these huge ones, boom, 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 boom. I can make my small shape and make my edge count go down, add another polygon, boom, there we go. We have that value of information we can see with that, and so we can see how well that works on that. And so I do that by adding the polygon with that, so I can make it so I can have that information. So it's a quick way to add that regular polygon. Again, I just have to calculate the x and y using sine and cosine to grab that xy value, add that, multiply it on the sides, and it'll draw that shape correctly. I hope this is a helpful way to use how to do Java drawing. Have a great day. See you next time. Bye-bye.